Now, the Socialist Party is known to be one of Zambia's formidable opposition political parties. Yesterday, Saturday, and today, Sunday, one can describe that the party has been rocked with drama. In a statement released yesterday, and I quote, President Fred Member said, "Bachepa sana. We are fully aware of intensified and clandestine efforts by the regime in recent weeks to destabilize the Socialist Party. These schemes are not accidental. They are well-calculated attempts aimed at discrediting me as the leader and destroying the party as a whole." This statement comes in the wake that on Saturday, November 1st, 2025, the Socialist Party dropped its National Youth Chairperson in Kelvin Ker from its Politburo amid reports that he had plans to challenge for the party presidency, an allegation Ker refutes. Today, Sunday, November 2nd, 2025, Warren Mulenga, the Copperbelt Youth Provincial Chairperson, says he has resigned from his position and the party. Tonight, on Costa's cross-examination, Socialist Party leader Dr. Fred Member joins us to discuss the party's internal politics and the state of the nation ahead of the August 2026 polls. Join me shortly, right after this. Dr. Fred Member, always a pleasure. You're summoned to Costa's cross-examination. Welcome.
Thank you very much for hosting me.
What is really going on in the Socialist Party? I've laid it down, and yesterday you dropped your youth mobilization chairperson. Today, your Copperbelt Provincial Youth Chairperson has resigned. Is there trouble in the party?
I think you described it very well in the beginning when you said drama. Indeed, it's a drama. If it didn't affect the governance of the country, it didn't affect the politics of the country, one would laugh over it. It would be a nice comedy to watch. But it has got impacts on the governance of the country. Political parties matter in our system. We did warn some 2 or 3 weeks ago that the UPND is working to destabilize not only the TONSE and the PF, but also now the SP. What they want next year is a no contest. They don't want any formidable party to participate in the elections next year as a strong party or participate at all. I'm the target, SP is the target. They have almost concluded their work on the PF and the TONSE. If you have been following the media, you also see that there's drama there, unending drama. Again, if it didn't impact on the governance of the country, we'll be laughing about the PF drama, the TONSE drama. Yes, there are many political parties, almost 100. But very few really are working on the ground to try and give the UPND some good run. We have been participating in the by-elections since the August 2021 elections. We have participated in most of the by-elections. We are only second to UPND.
You haven't been very successful in most of those by-elections.
These by-elections are not elections per se. The UPND, as I've stated before, have not been winning these elections. They've been purchasing them, Markwebo. They simply go and flood a small ward of 1,000 people with money. Now they've even resorted to going with helicopters in a small ward. Helicopters. A small ward with 1,000 to 2,000 registered voters. They are campaigning with helicopters. They are distributing money openly. It's not hiding. Nobody will deny it. They will not deny it themselves now. When challenged, they say, you are not giving money because you don't have it. ECZ knows about it. They can't deny it. We have complained to them. They have told us to go and report it to Anti-Corruption Commission.
But these so-called handouts that you allege, the party in power says part of this is their distribution of projects in terms of cooperative loans, schemes, things that are already ongoing as a government?
Let's put that aside. There is money that they take and distribute it directly, tantameni. In every election, you can ask any political party that has participated in these by-elections, they will tell you.
And you provided evidence to the ECZ and
we did.
Done nothing about it?
Yes, they say it's outside their control. Go and report it to ECZ, go and report it to police.
Let's get back to the issue of this trouble in the Socialist Party, house. You are blaming the UPND, which for now would say allegations, and again I'll quote your statement from yesterday. You say, or from Sunday, last week, the 26th of October, you say, I have been receiving credible intel that our party and its leadership have become the target of intensified surveillance and intelligence operations by agents and state system. The regime is actively seeking some weak links among some or someone they can compromise and use to undermine our collective efforts from within. Is Mr. Kelvin Ker this weak link that you mention here? And yesterday he held a press briefing to mobilize your party membership, the youth, over voter registration. A meeting, he says, was cleared by yourself, in which you sent your Deputy Secretary General, Mr. Faston Mwale, to represent you. This briefing was live on the Socialist Party page. So why drop a person who you had cleared to go and conduct, this event?
You saw what happened yesterday. You saw the statements that were coming out, not only on rogue media outlets, but even on credible news media. You saw it on News Diggers, you saw it in Millennium, whatever. You saw the statements. There was an attempt to correct or to deny what happened on News Diggers, but later on it was dropped. And the statement that was posted on News Diggers was saying it's a fabrication or it's fake news or something like that. That was not generated by ourselves. And this cloud did not start to gather just yesterday. Some 2-3 weeks ago, there was a video that was posted by my brother, Comrade Kelvin, which raised a lot of issues, both internally and externally. They were asking what is going on. And the stories also started to generate around that video. You saw it where he was talking about leadership.
Is there anything wrong for a Zambian, in fact a member of your party, to be ambitious and to aspire? You don't allow that in the Socialist Party?
No, we have
You're not a democratic party?
We have no problems with anybody aspiring for anything. I'm simply telling you what transpired about the storm that was gathering. People were asking what is going on, both internally and externally. If you go back, I defended him. I defended him on that again. I did post something on the Central Committee WhatsApp group and other groups of the party to defend him. I did defend him.
Did you have anything wrong yourself with that video?
I don't have anything wrong. Look, let me explain leadership in the party. For us, nobody makes himself a leader. You are made a leader of the party by the party members. It took 1 year, 6 months for me to accept to lead the party. When we created the party, I was one of the founders of the party. It took 1 year, 6 months for me to agree to lead SP. We did not create the party to become presidents, to become this and that. Again, I did not offer myself. I did not campaign or ask anybody to make me president at the last Congress. It was done unanimously by the party members who attended Congress. The same way Kelvin was elected to the Politburo, that's the same way I was elected to the Politburo and to be president of the party. I'm president of the party because the party wants me to be president. If any day any of our members feels I'm not the right person to lead the party at one stage or another, I will not stay in that leadership position for a second longer. It's not a privilege, really, per se. It's a duty that one has to perform. And it's taxing. It calls for a lot of sacrifices, financially, socially, and otherwise.
Well, Dr. Member, what's your tenure from the last election of the one that you talk about, from 2021? Is the Socialist Party going to have an internal, I don't know whether you call it convention, because others are accusing the Socialist Party, and you in particular now, of saying you're running the party with dictatorship tendencies, in that if not you at the helm, then nobody else. Is Kelvin Ker being punished for his aspirations? Just for him to say, I'm offering myself for leadership? Is there anything wrong with that?
He has not offered himself. If you ask him, he will deny that he has offered himself.
Based on the video you alluded to?
It was, I'm saying the video was ambiguous. It led to speculation and so forth. There's nobody to stop anybody. We had a Congress last year. The next Congress is in 4 years' time. In between, the Constitution allows for an extraordinary Congress if there's need, but that is called by the Politburo under the Constitution. Nobody stops anybody. Why should one be concerned by anybody wanting to be this or that? There are processes. If you want to become president in midstream, in between congresses, there are processes to do it, and nobody will stop you. If the leadership of the party feels there's need to change leadership, nobody will stop. Nobody has stopped anybody from changing leadership. The constitution of the party is there. Follow it and change the leadership. I will not resist any change of leadership in the party. If tomorrow my colleagues, they don't even need to hold a Congress. If members of the Politburo, 5 of them or so, come and approach me tomorrow and say, we want to change leadership. Just 5.
Who makes the Politburo, and do you feel that you still have a legitimate mandate in terms of popularity within the Socialist Party? Again, we're getting information that some within the rank and file feel you have lost the steam and popularity to lead the party into the election.
If they feel that way, I don't know those, nobody has ever come to me. I'm hearing it from you.
You haven't heard of those concerns?
No, I've not heard it from anybody. Nobody has ever approached me. Not even Kelvin. I was with him on Friday. I spoke to him briefly yesterday. Nobody has ever raised that with me. If anybody raises that with me, or a group of them raise that with me, I'm ready to step aside. It's not a do or die. I did not join the Socialist Party or find the Socialist Party to lead it. It's not a do or die for me. If tomorrow even 3 of the Politburo members come and say step down, I'll step down. Even if the Constitution doesn't follow that route. It's not something that bothers me.
You're ready to step down?
Why not? Mm-hmm. What would bother me is if I'm expelled from the party.
The decision you took...
Expelling from the party will bother me. Mm-hmm. I have a lot of things to do in the party.
The decision you took on Saturday, yesterday, again I asked you, did you clear Mr. Kaunda to hold that event yesterday with the party structures and send your Deputy Secretary General?
It's not about holding of the press conference. We send many people there. It's not about the press conference. It's what transpired after.
So you have not. So this decision had nothing to do with what was said and what was done at that event.
Yes, or the holding of it. No.
Were you aware of that event?
Yes.
You had cleared that event.
No, we had authorized it.
You had authorized it.
Yes.
So your dropping of Mr. Kaunda had nothing with what he said and the manner he conducted himself at that mobilization event.
That was attended by many people, yes.
Including your Deputy Secretary General,
yes.
Who was representing you.
Mm-hmm. It's not about that. There are a lot of things that transpired.
So why have you dropped Mr. Kaunda?
There are a lot of things that transpired after that. Immediately things started flying around in the media when there was such a big cloud, such a big storm. I called him. I was attending a church function in Matero, a fundraising for St. Mary's event. I wasn't on the phone, so when I finished, phones now started ringing. I found so many missed calls. I started answering the calls. Oh, I was being told, this is what is going on. I phoned Kelvin immediately. On my way from Matero, I phoned him. He answered the phone, but the connection was poor. We couldn't communicate. After that, the phone was switched off. I tried to call him, I couldn't get him. I tried to call people I thought were with him. Some of them were cutting the phones. Things continued piling up. I tried to reach him. I did reach him much later through somebody else. In the meantime, there were all sorts of media queries coming, this, that.
Based on what
was flying?
Based on what his side terms is an unverified statement which was not signed by him.
There was so much
issued by him.
There was so much storm. When there's so much dust, there's a need to settle the dust. A decision was not taken by just me alone. It was a collective decision, including many other leaders. And it was felt using the powers that are there for the Politburo in the Constitution. The Constitution of the party does allow what happened. It's not unconstitutional.
Is there justice in the manner you handled this? Others feel there's injustice and it was out of impulse.
It is handled in accordance with the Constitution of the party.
Was Mr. Kaunda given the right to be heard? You're a lawyer. The concept of Audi Alterim Party.
The Constitution does not provide for that route. The Constitution does provide under certain circumstances, under emergency, to deal with the way we dealt with it.
So you verified that that statement originated from him and he had attempts to oust the party leadership?
No, we will not go into those details here. It will be unfair to the party, it will be unfair to Mr. Kaunda himself. All what I can say, what was done yesterday by the party follows the party constitution to the letter. And under such circumstances, the party found it necessary. We will still meet with Comrade Kaunda, discuss these issues. If there are certain corrective or changes in the decisions that have been made, they will be made. We have no issues. Personally, I enjoy a very cordial relationship with him.
There are others in the structures of the party that, do not agree with your decision. Have you received the resignation by your youth provincial chairperson on the Copper Belt?
I've just heard about it.
There's a letter circulating.
Yes, I've heard about it.
Which he highlights that he feels your decision is an injustice and hence
he is very close to Mr. Kaunda. He's almost like an employee of Kelvin. Almost an employee of Kelvin. He lives off Kelvin. You can understand that. Although he's on the Copper Belt, he spends most of his time here with Kelvin. And it's understandable.
But he's your provincial youth chairperson.
He has the right to resign. You have never had people resign here. You have never had people resign here. Where do people not resign? Even in the churches, people resign. As pastors, as priests, they resign. There's no place where people don't live. He has the right to live.
Does this not worry you 9 months before an election that your house is cracking?
It's not cracking. Dealing with one person, it means the house is cracking. How many parties have had issues? Even in the UPND, how many people have the UPND lost? At a much higher level than Mr. Kaunda had. They have lost how many vice presidents? Didn't they go and win an election? Count how many vice presidents UPND lost along the way. Many. Didn't Mr. Sata fire 22 MPs and go on and win an election? How many deputy general secretaries did Mr. Sata fire? Which party has not lost?
But political parties, Dr. Membe, are not companies, they are not family businesses, so they should be intra-party democracy, and people must be allowed to express their divergent views and their aspirations.
Every party has got its own rules.
What are the rules of the Socialist Party?
It has got its constitution. It's got its constitution. That's the rule. That's what governs the party, the constitution.
This is not the first time we're getting these concerns. Your former comrade Antonio Mwanza, Father Frank Bwalia, again say the same, that they're leaving the party because you do not allow for free flow of ideas.
The people you are talking about, how many parties did they leave? Their first party was Socialist Party. Count how many parties they left, the people you are mentioning. Count how many parties they left. Was the Socialists their first party? And it will not be unfair for me to start discussing how each one of those left. It will not be fair. And that's not the way to go.
So as we move this discussion forward, for the sake of clarity, based on the message you issued yesterday, the one that I quoted, would one then be right to say that the current scenario, where you say Vache Pasana, is that you are accusing the UPND machinery of being behind this, and one of those weak links within the Socialist Party that you've identified is Mr. Kelvin Ker, hence you have rooted him out of the party. He's being sponsored by the UPND.
I don't want to make that accusation.
But this is the information here.
Is that talking about Mr. Kaunda?
This is well.
What I can
when one connects the dots, you're saying you are fully aware of intensified clandestine efforts by the regime to destabilize the party. You have received credible intel that the party leadership, you have become the target, and the regime is actively seeking some weak links. Among us are someone that they can compromise. This is you saying this. Warning your party members.
I should empty all that intel I have here.
Well,
are you going to consider me an intelligent leader, a credible leader, to come and empty all that intel that I have here, put it on this table, to start discussing each of the intel I have? It is a fact that any political observer of what is going on in this country, that what is happening in the PF, or what has happened to the PF, is work of the UPND. There have been stories this week about NCP pulling out of Tonse. There have been allegations of this and that and that. You were reading it. Attempts to destabilize PF, attempts to destabilize Tonse are works of the UPND. Where have some of the people who left us gone? Immediately you clear them, or they are about to be fired, where have they run to? They have run to the UPND, where they were working with. So the destabilization of the UPND of the opposition is not a lie. They themselves come and tell us. We have people in the UPND who come and tell us what they are planning. And we are not the first people in the opposition on the politics of Zambia to be told what is being planned by the ruling party. The UPND used to get such information also when they were in the opposition, what the PF or the MMD was planning about it.
Is it normal then that, with your experience, that these are the type of politics that Zambia should have, where it's just about buying and destabilizing political party structures? Is that healthy for a democracy? Is that the type of politics you, our leaders, are practicing?
Definitely, it's not the right type of politics that this country should have. When politics are reduced to this, to a casino where you just go and gamble, then the leadership of the country is affected. There's much more expected out of politics, because politics play a very key role in the governance of the country. These political parties that we denigrate every day are playing a very key role. Today you have the UPND ruling. Before that you had the PF. Before that you had MMD. Before that you had UNIP. There are clubs, there are associations, there are societies under the Register of Societies, but they govern the country. So the same way you get interested when somebody resigns from a political party or is fired from a political party, it's the same way you should get interested in what happens to these parties.
You are making very strong allegations, Dr. Membe, and it would really be nice if at one point we could really, substantiate that the UPND are really destabilizing opposition political parties. But with that said, the people out there, as we go towards an election, there's now voter registration. There have been calls for a united and a well-organized opposition. You, as the Socialist Party, decided to start working with the Tonse Alliance, especially on by-elections. With all that is happening, what is the current status quo in terms of where you sit or stand as a party within the scheme of the alliance, especially now that you are accusing the UPND strongly of destabilizing this alliance?
It's not unique to Zambia today for the ruling party to destabilize the opposition. We are seeing what has happened in Tanzania and its consequences. The issue of PF stands out clearly because it has gone to court. It's easy to talk about it because it has gone to court. And you can see how the UPND government has behaved. We have issues of the registrar of societies being fired with no reason. Judges have lost their jobs, or at least a judge, over the PF issue. You have seen how those who have taken power by what you may call undemocratic processes are treated by the PF, by the UPND. So to deny that the UPND is not involved, I think is hypocrisy of the highest order, or ostrich behavior. There are problems. The UPND is interfering. If you look even at the media that gets into the forefront of these issues, you will find it's the UPND inclined media or UPND sponsored media. It will not be Diamond TV spearheading this. Yes, Diamond TV will call us to come and explain. And that's very good. What you are doing here is what needs to be done. But look at what the state media, the UPND inclined media do. And you can see where they stand. You can see. They can even predict what is going to come because they are aware of what is going on. So what is going on in the SP today is not accidental. It's part of the process of destabilizing the opposition political parties. And even Kelvin alluded to that yesterday when he was refuting the things. If it's falsities, who is spreading those falsities?
What is your stance as a party within the scheme of the Tonse Alliance?
Alliances are important. We need to unify our struggles as the opposition. If we don't struggle together, we'll be defeated alone. And the people are calling for that. Whatever media platform you go onto, when they open the lines, people are saying, you people in the opposition, unite and field one candidate.
But why are you failing to do so?
Unity is not an easy thing. It's not something you just go and pick on the shelves. We are in these different political parties because we have different approaches, we have different missions. To unify those missions into one national agenda is not easy. It requires effort, it requires time, it requires persistence. We are doing so. We have been working on this process since October last year. In September, we got the mandate last year as SP to participate in alliances, to participate in united fronts with others. And in pursuance of that mandate, we started reaching out to others. We have had talks with the PF or Tonse. We are working in the united front with others. Costa, a thing that can take 10 minutes to make a decision, in these alliances or united fronts, it can take you 100 hours.
Sadly, because of the election set for August 13th next year, and when we count, we're now 9 months plus, the opposition may not have that luxury of time. Do you see the possibility of this united opposition alliance working, and with the Socialist Party being part of it?
I share your concern about time. Time is important. To recover lost time is impossible because time is linear. The day you have lost, you will never recover it. It's gone. And a campaign, a general election campaign, requires more time. It's not enough to just campaign in the 90 days provided. We need to resolve these issues very, very quickly. And everybody is concerned. Wherever you go, this is the question that is on the lips of people. This is the desire of many Zambians. And this is what they are calling for.
Do you see it being possible, a united opposition, before the election?
It is possible, but we have to struggle for it.
What are the bottlenecks? Do you have trust issues? Where are these bottlenecks? Again,
the bottlenecks are many.
Yes, is it trust issues? Some few months ago, again, we hear audios or leaked audios of the fact that probably the Socialist Party was in the forefront of trying to hijack the PF leadership. Are there trust issues?
Trust is key to any alliance, to any marriage, to any coalition. You have to build that trust. You have to build that confidence in each other. Because without trust, hope becomes difficult. Without hope, unity becomes impossible. And also, trust is built on common agendas. If the agenda of each party is to become, its leaders to become presidents, then that becomes very difficult to be a unifying factor. If the main agenda is a national agenda, it becomes much easier for all of you to unite around that national agenda. So the negotiations, the interactions is to build that trust, to help you build a national agenda. It means you have to work even with political parties that do not really per se have a national agenda. They have an agenda for its leaders. So to move those leaders into a national agenda takes time.
What attracted you as a Socialist Party to join this Tonse Alliance? Because it all began as UKA, or United Kwacha Alliance, with the likes of the late former President Edgar Lungu and others. They broke away. And now we are being told that Edgar Lungu was really Tonse, and there's no Tonse without Edgar Lungu. Even Mr. Peter Chanda of the NCP, who was pulled out now, said they were not proceeding because the principles, or really the fundamentals in which the Tonse was formulated around with Edgar Lungu, were no longer being respected. What attracted you, and do you feel that there's still a Tonse without Edgar Lungu?
We have had meetings with the leadership of Tonse. We have sat with the key leaders of PF who are also leaders of Tonse. They have explained to us the UKA project, how they got out of it. They have explained to us how Tonse was created when UKA failed. They have explained to us how they came up with the NCP as the special purpose vehicles for contesting elections. They have explained to us the constitution of Tonse. We were not very much aware of the structure of Tonse when we tried to approach them to work with them. But when we got to the door and got the realities, we told our friends we can't proceed unless the constitution of Tonse is changed, the special vehicle purpose is re-looked at, and they told us, join, just come in, you come and change things when you're inside. We said, colleagues, that has been tried before by many people. Once you get in, it's difficult. To try and change things, you have many conflicts. let's see how these things change. When they are changed, then we can join. But then the United Front came up, in which some leaders of PF, some leaders of Tonse or jointly, and others were working together with us. We have had leaders in the United Front with the leaders of Tonse. They have been attending here and there.
What is this United Front?
The United Front included most of the parties that participate in the elections or that are active. I'm told there are 100 political parties or so, but I think there are not more than 20 that are very active.
So to get you correctly, the Socialist Party is not party or a member of the Tonse Alliance?
Yes, it's not.
You're not member.
We never joined.
But you do collaboratively work together in what you're describing as the United Front in fielding one opposition candidate in a by-election.
Yes, and that was tested in Rumezi. The United Front asked the parties that were participating that have been participating in the by-elections, that is Tonse, stroke PF under NCP. There was a CF that was participating, and SP. They asked us to sit down and choose one candidate for Rumezi. And that meeting or that process was chaired by the UNP president, Bishop Trevor Mwamba. We eventually came to an agreement or a decision to field one candidate in Rumezi under the PF or under NCP. And that candidate was supported heavily by SP. SP pushed in resources and so on. We supported the candidate. We moved to Mufue. There was a breakdown. We could not even sit to agree until the nomination day. Then we had the NCP fielding, SP fielding. And that has continued with the other by-elections. So it's something that requires, as you say, a lot of urgent work because time is not with us.
Surely with the trend showing that there's no unity of purpose, while the Zambian people who matter to be served by leaders such as yourselves are calling you, you've admitted here, to say unite, unite. The trend is showing. The CF have gone along. The NCP are going along. Socialist Party is going along. Already, from a media perspective, we are counting not less than 30 presidential candidates as things stand come August 2026. Is this really about individuals or the 20 million Zambians?
Again, as political players, we need to address the interests of the people. We need to address the will of the people, the desires of our people. Our people are telling us unite and give us one candidate. They are not giving us a blueprint on how that should be done, but they are telling us unite. It's us to find the blueprint or create one. And we don't seem to be doing very well, given the time that is remaining, and also the time we have wasted. In the United Front, we have had to ask other people who are not from the political parties, civic societies and so forth, to come and help us resolve these issues and move very quickly. I hope it will succeed. I hope it will enable us to move very fast. But even them, it's only that they are very experienced people and very committed people. They would have pulled out because we haven't given them an easy job.
While all this indecision, while all this disunity and all this, time lapse is happening, it surely puts the UPND and the president in a very good position. Hence why he is very confident. 4 weeks ago, he addressed his party supporters here in Lusaka. He's very confident of returning power next year, because even some people would say, we're not happy with certain things that we were promised by this regime and we feel they've not delivered. But even if we had to vote them out, there is no alternative. Doesn't this worry you as an opposition? Because, while you are undecided and the people know exactly what they want you to do, which you're not doing, it makes it easy for the UPND and the president to simply return power. And he's very confident that he's doing that.
They are cheating themselves.
Aren't you cheating yourselves if you're not united?
No, we are not cheating ourselves, because that unity will come. Even if it came 10 days before the elections, it will still work. Even if it came 90 days before the elections, it will still work. And I'm confident that we'll achieve that unity before the end of this year. We'll achieve that unity. But while we're working for that unity, we also have to work on mobilization of the people. And for now, the most important exercise is the ongoing voter registration. We have to give it the maximum attention and push in a lot of resources and time. We have to get our people registered to vote and continue to mobilize. Even if there are restrictions, you saw last week or at the weekend, Mr. Mundubire's group in Chisamba or Chibombo being arrested for holding a meeting. We had a meeting last week with the ECZ, and ECZ was asking the political parties to help mobilize for voter registration. I asked them, how are we going to mobilize with the Public Order Act? Are we going to have the same environment that we would have in a general election, the 90 days, or what we have in a by-election? Communicated to us what the position is. ECZ failed to give us an answer. They said they'll look at it. They have not answered that question to this very day.
As all this is happening, you are saying the UPND is cheating themselves. You say even 10 days before the election, you will be united and the Zambians will vote for that opposition. The other school of thought, Dr. Membe, is that if there is no hope and there's a vacuum in terms of leadership, voter apathy is what comes out. And we are, from a media perspective, beginning to hear those sentiments of saying, I would rather not vote. People have lost hope.
Mr. Mwansa, who votes? Is it the political party that vote, or is it the people that vote?
It's the people, and I'm saying we're beginning from a media point of view to hear people saying they're not enthused to go and register to vote. They're not ambitious to go and vote because they've lost hope.
No, they'll vote. The people are going through a lot of challenges. They'll vote. They want to change. They'll vote. As long as there will be someone on the ballot paper competing.
But they'll vote for who, Dr. Membe? That's the question.
You said yourself that there might be 30 candidates. They will vote for one of those.
So amongst even these 30 candidates, while there's all this political confusion and indecision to choose one leader as the opposition, the people are also saying, the voters, that the messaging from the opposition, there's no alternative solutions towards the energy crisis coming out of the opposition. There's no alternative message on how to reduce the cost of living. There's no alternative message on issues surrounding debt, where the UPND says, Kwenyu, we've renegotiated this debt. Kwenyu, we have brought back, mining contracts. Kwenyu, we've brought back bursaries for university students. Kwenyu, we've brought free education. What is the alternative?
Mr. Mwansa, there are many opposition leaders who have come on this platform, who have had interviews with you, who have articulated their vision for the problems you're mentioning. Even the Socialist Party has done that on many occasions and on many platforms. It's either you people in the media want to hear our voice or you don't want to hear it, or it goes in one ear, comes out in the other. That is articulated. And also, what matters the most is what people feel. It's not the Kwenyu, UPND and Akainde give themselves. They are ticking themselves. It's not the people marking them. Those marks are not being given to them by or ticks are not being given to them by the people. It doesn't matter what the opposition feels. What matters is what the people feel. It doesn't matter what the UPND feels or Mr. Hichilema feels. What matters is what the people feel. You are in the media, you can measure. You have a barometer to feel that pulse. What is the feeling of the people? And that is what is going to be translated in the way they vote, into the votes they will give.
The biggest pain point, Dr. Member, right now for many Zambians is the 15 hours of load shedding, in that then it disrupts businesses, it disrupts operations. So the energy crisis is big, and the high cost of living. Can the Socialist Party promise, either with a united opposition front, that you have got a better blueprint, a better solution than what the UPND is currently doing with their open access, their solar diversification? Do you have a better energy solution? Do you have a better solution towards reducing the cost of living for the Zambian watching tonight?
I would say yes. And that solution has come from the people themselves. What the people are saying is that they want to get their country back. Everything in this country today is done for or by foreigners. The energy sector is dependent on the foreigners to invest in, to run. They are not coming in the numbers the UPND had been telling us, with the amounts of money the UPND had been promising. They are not coming.
What would you do differently in the energy sector? Would you remove open access? Would you remove the emergency tariffs? Would you not consider investing into solar?
Before we come even to that, the most important thing in every sector is to fall back on our people. We have realized over the last 60 years that what we can't do for ourselves, nobody will do it for us. And nobody has done it for us. The little that we have, we did it for ourselves. Kariba North Bank was not given to us by the colonialists. They gave Southern Rhodesia, the other side. We had to come with the Kariba North Bank. That Kariba Dam was created not for us. It was created for the white settler community in Zimbabwe, in Rhodesia, Southern Rhodesia. It was not for us. We had to create our own projects, Kafue Gorge and so on. We needed to do more than that. We needed to create hydropower stations in Nwapula, Northern Muchinga, Northwestern, and other places with sufficient water. We need to do that. We have to do it for ourselves. Yes, we need to cooperate with other people, but we have to run our own affairs. We have to get our sovereignty back and build the patriotism that is required to move forward. There's no country in the world that has been developed by other people. The model that we have won't work. We had other people who we are depending on today. They were here directly running this country. The same countries you are going to, the UK, ran this country for many decades. What did they leave you? After they have left direct control, you want them now to come and develop you.
Definitely FDI and donor aid, one can clearly see, has reduced the pullout of USAID and so much. Our 2026 budget speaks of 80% to be domestically mobilized. Again, I ask then, if what the UPND are putting on the table in terms of that, if 80% is not ownership, if trying to diversify into open access of the private sector playing into the energy sector, if trying to look at incremental tariffs to encourage investment is not good enough, is what you're saying still the better alternative amidst climate change, that we still need to invest in hydro in these other spaces?
Mr. Mwansa, being able to run this media institution, you can run anything. You can run a power station. You yourself. We used to say in those days that if you can run the media, you can run anything. You have the intellect to run anything in this country. You can generate electricity. But the problem is your access to finance. Only 2% of the Zambian banking system is owned by Zambians. Only 2%, which is the former Invest Trust Bank, which has become now Zambia Industrial whatever. And which are the other one? And then we have the 40% in Indo-Zambia and the 20% in Danako. The rest is foreign owned. Even if you come with a plan, a good business plan to develop a power station, who will give you the money? You can see these same banks, these multinational corporation banks that are here, they are giving people their money to foreigners. And that money is coming from us, from the Zambian taxpayer. They are using NAPSA money. NAPSA has billions of dollars. Which Zambian is using NAPSA money to develop their businesses? This money, NAPSA doesn't keep it in its offices. It takes it to these transnational corporation banks. And it's what it lends to the mines, it lends to other people. But you go there and try to get that money, you won't get it.
You will stop that
yes.
If given an opportunity?
We have to change that. It's very easy. Mr. Mwansa, you can run a bank with a few of your colleagues. The media industry here can own a bank. You can own a bank. And all what it will be required is for the money that comes from the Zambian taxpayer to go into that bank. And let the transnational corporation banks get money from fellow transnational corporation banks. 60% of the money circulating here is taxpayers' money. You have no access to that. Look at the foreigners running businesses here, successful businesses here, big businesses. Are they more intelligent than you?
Why do you think our cost of borrowing and our cost of doing business is high? Of course, with factors like the monetary policy rate and interest rates, but what triggers this when we've heard time and time again the president sitting with these banks and sitting with the Bankers Association saying you need to reduce the lending rates?
Which money do these banks lend to the government? These banks are lending to the Zambian government, Zambian taxpayers' money. That's what they are lending to the government through bonds, treasury bonds. They get your NAPSA money that is deposited with them. They use that money to buy treasury bonds and get huge interest. And that money, they don't keep it here. When it's paid, they take it out. So the Zambian government is borrowing its own people's money, its own money. It takes huge deposits every month to these banks. How much interest does it get on that money that goes there? Very little. But when that money is lent to the government pays very high interest rates. And unfortunately, the consequence of that also is that when you go to the bank will tell you there's no money because it's not worth lending to you. The bank won't make that amount of money from you. It will be better made, by lending to the treasury.
So, with your explanation of
only 5%,
with your explanation of no access to capital, still back to my question, because this is a very distressing issue for Zambians and a very big ballot issue. They are looking for an energy solution. Zambians are tired, especially in the urban setup, of working without electricity, of doing business without electricity, of running homes without electricity. And this is what they're asking the Socialist Party. If what the UPND is giving us is 15 hours of no power, is bad enough, what are you telling us?
What has the UPND been telling the Zambian people? They have been promising. They have sorted out. Sometimes they have even made pronouncements. Mr. Ichinam has pronounced that we have sorted out load shedding.
He said last week that he's not happy that they have not done much with the energy sector. He's let down the people, he admits. But I think tonight...
What did he say before that?
But people tonight want to hear, if the UPND's solution is not good enough, what is the Socialist Party solution on energy?
We have come here before you. We have outlined what we are going to do, And not only us, have we had other opposition leaders come here from UNIP, CF, from PF, UNIP, TONSE, and the others. They have come here. And we have come here. We have to generate enough electricity. The first thing is to stop exporting. You can only export surplus. What we are getting from the export of power, we would get more from deploying that power locally for production. We would produce more goods and services. That would give us more money than we are getting from exporting that power to Namibia, to Botswana, and others. That will still not solve the problem.
But government has reduced the amount of exports.
They are still exporting.
Yes, they are.
You are also importing power at the same time. And the power you are importing is being imported not by ZESCO. It's being imported by middlemen. Companies that our leaders have created. They get power from Mozambique at a good rate. They add up a huge markup, sell to ZESCO. ZESCO also adds this markup, sells to you. They have negotiated guarantees for the mines. These transnational corporations are not suffering from load shedding. They are protected, they're insulated. Even the rates are fixed.
So it's always easy to sit in a critic's chair and say this they're doing, this they have failed. But being a part of this country's governance system from different angles, I mean, you were part of the media for the longest. It's not as easy as when we come in power, we'll come and stop these things because there are contracts involved. I mean, history has it. We said when we come back, we will change the sale of Zamtel, the sale of this. You see where it lands the country. You have to start paying back. These are contracts. Is it as easy as you're saying that this is a mistake and we will do away with it?
It's not that simple. There are interconnections to these things. It's not just changing that contract and that contract. It's changing the whole governance system. And that's why we say, take kuchinja fetch panichire teka nakateka, kuchinje mitekere. Ngata to change mitekere will not be able to sort out these problems. There are so many factors. Things are not decided by just one factor. The electricity problem is not decided by just one factor. It's decided by many factors, including finance, the political priorities that you have, the economic priorities that you have, the social settings that you create, and so on. Many factors. Even your international relations matter. How much you place on your sovereignty also affects what you do. So it's not just one little thing, one thread. There are so many threads connecting to these problems.
The UPND and the president said they found this country in a debt tube. They found it on its economic knees, and they've been working hard the last 4 years to bring it back to resuscitation. Scribes like the Bloomberg and others, Standards and Poor's, rate or project that this country's GDP by February or January of next year will be hitting around 7.8%, when in 4 years ago it was in minus. The exchange rate in the last couple of weeks has appreciated to now below 23 kwacha. Just 2 days ago on a Friday, petrol and diesel prices came down by about 1 kwacha and some ingwes. Is that not a bit of positivity coming out of the economy, that something good is coming out?
Well, figures are important. Statistics are important. But statistics cannot be looked at in isolation from the realities. You were talking about debt. When the UPND came, the internal debt was about 220-something billion. Today it stands at 242 billion. 242 billion. Your budget is said to be 253 billion. So you have just a difference of about 10, 11 billion. That's just your local debt. Your external debt, they are saying it's about 16 billion. You know, you have these figures quite better than me. When you look at that, and then you have your budget is about 55% on emoluments. You have 35% on the debt servicing. So 90% of your budget gone. You are remaining with 10%. 10%, you still have a lot of other recurring government expenditure. You also need infrastructure there. You need to build roads, bridges, and so on. Can it work? What that shows you is that there will be more borrowing. To meet that budget, you need to borrow. Hence, the debt has been increasing. The UPND has not arrested borrowing. It has continued to borrow, and borrowing even at a much faster rate than their friends.
9 months from now, if the Socialist Party had to take over the reins of power, you would find that state of affairs. You would find a budget with only 10% to do social welfare and other economic programs. You will still find $14.6 billion that is being owed to multinationals and bilateral partners. You will still find over 240 billion kwacha owed to local suppliers. You will still find that.
Yes.
So how then would you do it differently?
When you have such a problem, you have to think outside the box. If you want to continue on that projection or trajectory, you have problems. You will not be able to get out of it. We are of the view that when you have such a problem, you have to jump the system. You have to get out of the system.
What is this thing outside the box?
Let me tell you.
You will not borrow yourselves?
Let me tell you. Let me give you an example that is political, not economical. When Michael Sata won the elections in 2011, he didn't have a majority in parliament. There was the issue of electing the speaker. UPND and MMD agreed to go for the parliamentary elections of the speaker and deputy speaker jointly. UPND put forward Mr. Richard Kapita. MMD put up the late Honorable Mukondolungu to be the deputy speaker. They agreed. And if they were going to go like that, PF of Michael would not have control over parliament. They would have lost parliament. And you know the consequences. Michael consulted some of us and said, what do we do? We told Michael, Kanavesa, if we don't think outside the box, parliament is gone. You will not be able to win parliament the normal way. Michael says, what should I do? I said, you have to think outside the box. What is thinking outside the box? You cannot get a politician and field him as your candidate in parliament to defeat the combined UPND and MMD. Get somebody who is not a politician. Who do I get? We suggested to him to get Patrick Mativini, Dr. Mativini. Is he going to agree? Yes, he's going to agree. You worked with him, but he's now a High Court judge. The credibility is much higher, and so on. Kalande Ninangwe. We spoke to Dr. Mativini. Dr. Mativini agreed. He took a risk. To be supported by somebody who doesn't have the majority doesn't guarantee you victory. We put him there, and then to start to negotiate. We told Michael, UPND is not going to give you any votes. The only hope for Mativini to win is from MMD. Do a deal with Mukondolungu. Tell him What the victory UPND can give him, PF can still give him. And it will be better to be given victory by a ruling party than an opposition party. That is number 3, because it was not even number 2 in parliament. It was number 3.
So that's an example of thinking outside the box. The current debt situation we've described, both of us, very well. My question is, in your thinking outside the box to the Zambians, because people are saying what the UPND have done in their restructuring is just pushing the problem forward. You will not borrow? What practical thinking outside the box measures will you apply on Zambia's current debt?
There's nothing wrong with borrowing. What is wrong is borrowing beyond your debt capacity. And also borrowing in a manner that affects your consumption. You, even at a household position, there's nothing wrong with going to borrow to buy furniture. There's nothing wrong with going to borrow to buy a plow, to buy a fridge, and so on. But there's something wrong to go and borrow and go to restaurants to eat nice meals, exotic foods, drive an expensive car that you don't need, really. There's something wrong with that. So, and also where you borrow matters. How vicious is the person you're borrowing from? Is this a Shylock who you can't negotiate with? Who will come and throw your family outside the house? All these factors need to be taken into account. What you borrow for is important. How you borrow is important. What you do with what you have borrowed is important.
Dr. Membe, always a pleasure to host you on Constant. Thank you so much for being our guest on Cross-Examination this evening.
Thank you very much.
Costa's Cross-Examination is now adjourned. That was my guest, the Socialist Party leader, Dr. Fred Membe. We've been discussing an array of national issues and, of course, the happenings of the internal politics of the Socialist Party. Let's see if that storm in the teacup does indeed settle. Thank you so much. Good night and God bless.